And I thought that painting requires a little bit more preparation than some of the other arts, so I thought I'd leave it to later in life. So I did, and I only started painting when I was motivated on my move to Lakefield, where the beauty of nature and the passage of the seasons kind of gave rise to some feelings that I thought should be translated into art. So I would say 3 or 4 years ago, that's how I started. My beginning really was taking some online courses and talking to some people locally who had a good feel about the trade and the craft, and like anybody else in the business, I began to experiment. And I learned through the process of experimentation, and of course I also learned from some good friends and mentors who said, "Oh David, you're heading in the wrong direction," or "You're heading in the right direction." And then the other thing, of course, is you keep it up. So I guess I've been at it now consistently, month after month, for about 3 years. It helps to know yourself. And I know that I can't draw an apple or a tree to save my life. This is not something that I can do. But, I'm being a little flippant. For me, I think the role of an artist is really to interpret the world around him. And so, in an abstract sense, and as an abstract presenter, I'm motivated by the idea that I present to people and ask them to discover not what they know, but what they don't know. So when they look at one of my paintings, I'm asking them to actually interpret, as I do, how they feel about the painting, what they see in the painting. And I, quite frankly, enjoy that process between the painter and the viewer far much more than I would anything having to do with realism. I know that if I painted an apple and someone saw an apple, that there would be some satisfaction in that. I understand that. But there's not as much when I'm asking the viewer to actually say, what do you see here? What do you feel here? And to engage them in a conversation about that. And that's really why realism is not for me and abstract expressionism is. I have definite influences. I go back to the school of abstract expressionism from the late 1950s and particularly the early 1960s. So we're looking at Jackson Pollock, and we're looking at Rothko, and we're looking at Riopelle and Mondrian to a degree. The trick for me is to try not to be those people, but to just draw the best from those people. I mean, they've already done what they've done, and there's no point in reinventing the artistic wheel with those guys. So yeah, they've been a big influence on me, and I sort of see it as a launching pad from which I begin to try and find my own voice and my own style. If I look at Picasso, for example, regardless of the period, to me his work is so dramatically his own. And I've seen artists who attempt to replicate it, and I honestly don't see the purpose. So I actually stay away from guys who are that dramatically and distinctly their own, to make sure that I don't end up copying it. Because if I'm copying it, I'm not doing the world of art or myself any good at all. The same would be true of Dali. Also, I think if I did Dali, I'd just end up laughing at myself. So probably not Dali either. Yeah, people are not shy. They engage me immediately. But the engagement is not what I thought it would be. Much of the engagement is, how do you do that? A fair amount of my painting involves splatter and drip work, and it's done on the floor. And so people are surprised by that process and really want to know how I do what I do. Other people, I think, are, like many people, take art too seriously, and they're a little bit put off by the profundity of the whole thing, so they tend not to ask questions about the meaning of things. I always tell people, look, you know what you like. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Don't worry about the rest. If you think it makes a nice addition to your life, then by all means get interested in the painting, talk about it, and of course buy it if you can.